Hello, lovely people. I'm Shaq, and welcome. I'm out here in the sunshine with Radar, who is actually starting to pant, something I don't see this little chihuahua do very often. So he's loving the extra heat that we're getting right now, and I gotta say, it's kind of nice. But I will take you back inside, and we will do a little something. But we're gonna check out how the bed looks down in the lower floor, and then I think we're gonna do something with fashion today. Have been struggling with the whole fashion inspiration, and yeah, I'll just tell you more about it when we get there. Let's go. I've added some things onto the shelf, just not dishes necessarily, just some odds and ends that'll probably end up on the bookshelf. And another baby doll, because she needs another one for some reason. And I made the smaller version of the typewriter. Put that together, and there is the bed in the corner. Like I said, I'll probably reorient it. I don't know. Depends on how the shelves and the wardrobe work together in here. And hopefully they will work together in here. Like I said, I really wanted to do the shelves and the wardrobe first, but you know, had the materials, and I love how the bed turned out. It is just so cute. So let's go over and start our fashion thing. So I have a wedding to plan for Keegan and Sindy Joe. And I've been setting this up on my Instagram in photographs. And the only thing that I have actually worked out was that it was going to be a beach wedding, because I wanted it to be easier for me. I don't actually like wedding dresses or making them. So I wanted to go with a theme that would allow me to just have more freedom. And also harkens back to my own experience with shoes and not liking high heels, although Sindy Joe's going to be wearing the silver heels that came with our collector, Sindy. But I've managed to do some work here. I guess I should start with what's right here in front of you. We're going to do some tropical shirts, and I hope that I have enough to get 5 shirts out of this fabric. If not, I will have to delve into something else, but the color palette is all present in this fabric. The bride is going to have a silver swimsuit. The groom and her bridesmaids will have these colors, the blue, purple, and pink. And the groom will be wearing this with silver pants, and the groomsmen will be wearing pants in each of these sparkly lame fabrics. I've worked out the swim top, and in the process made this discovery that my lining cut out at the same size and everything just seems to stretch more or something. Anyway, so I cut a lining piece that's just slightly smaller, and maybe as I'm sewing it, I'll do a little stretch on the lining part so that it pulls in so you don't see it, so that it wraps around. And this is one of those things about working with stretchy fabrics that I'm not really that good at and don't have a whole lot of experience, is figuring out how to do this. So yeah, I've adjusted my lining, and this one fits the smaller dolls. Sindy Joe is on a Barbie plus size body, so this is a little short. I'll have to make it just a 1/4 inch longer, I believe, and then it will fit around. And interestingly enough, Buffkin and plus size Barbie actually wear the same size pants, it looks like. So I've created a pattern here that fits both of them, or at least should. And I've made up other pants that fit both of them. So it's not, you know, the first time, but this is the first time with stretchy fabric. So I've been working with wovens, and they were the same size. This is adjusted so that it has takes advantage of the stretch, and they both need the darts in back for it to fit right. I thought that was kind of funny, because when you compare it to the capri pants for the petite Barbie body and the Sindy body, and I think even the Illy, that how much smaller this is. And I'm going to adjust this. I went with straight lines here just to get an idea of whether or not it'd fit, but I don't like it. I think it needs that curve. So I'll put the curve back in and then go on with the experiments, because this is how the commercial pants are made. They are very much made with this straight here because it's probably easier to sew it in an industrial situation. Anyway, I'm going to try it with the curved saddle and see how that goes. And I've got, let's see, I started with a regular, like a vintage Ken shirt. And while it fits on him and you can actually overlap it, it does all this wrinkling in back. And if you want to pose his arms forward, there's a lot of stress across here. And I don't know if I made the yoke. I may have made the yoke too big and it may still stress. I need to check that. So this will be a trial. Maybe I'll do this out of a different fabric so that I don't waste my fabric that I want to get 5 shirts out of. That would be a good idea. Anyway, I've got the yoke and I think it may come down too far. That's what I'm just sitting here contemplating, is I think it comes down too far and it needs to be stopped sooner in order to not do the stress so much when you move his arms forward. And that will mean that I need to make the back longer. It has a pleat which could go in the center, which is where I stuck it, but I think I'm going to move it to over here because that's where I put it on my shirts, is I put a little pleat on either side, and I think that would look better. Yeah, so this still has yet to be tried, but I added a little bit to the front and I added a little bit to the back, and I need to redo the yoke. I realize just now you saw me realizing that. So I got to redo that, and then I'll go and do a trial on some other fabric. But first I want to make sure these pants fit. So I'll be putting in the darts and sewing up the other side here. These are not meant to have an opening. They're supposed to just slide on. And because it's stretchy fabric, it's got a significant amount of stretch. It should work. It should go right on. When I've made these in the past on the smaller bodies, it works. So I have no... I'm not any really that concerned. I am maybe concerned that it'll be too big, but other than that, I'm not really concerned about the fit on this. And so I'm going to go set up to do that. One of the things I do when doing darts on a pair of pants that the waistband folds over instead of having a separate waistband is I take the start of the dart happens about where the fold on the waistband is going to be. So this is just going to have that simple folded over waistband. And so I just don't start sewing until, right at that fold line. It'll make it to where it doesn't pull funny or as bad when I fold it. You'll sometimes end up with a really difficult fold in your waistband. I also use the like clothespin type pinchy pins for holding instead of needles, instead of pins, for holding my pieces together to sew them. It cuts down on the number of marks, because if you poke in, like if I put a seam in this in the wrong place and then the next seam that has to replace it leaves that seam line exposed, it a lot of times will show. So we're just trying to cut down on the number of evidences of mistakes or, needle pricks from putting pins in to hold it together. An update on Della is she is still sticky. Her hands, her patch, It's not unusual when you do that second coat. It's one of the reasons why I kind of didn't want to do a second coat of oil paint, is it will often remain sticky for a long time. And yeah, I thought maybe we'd get lucky because the patch on her foot didn't, and we've been speculating over here about reasons why, one area wouldn't and others would, is possibly because of the air, since the sole of the foot was all that was covered, there was more area uncovered. It didn't have a fresh coat of paint, so it had more breathing room. I don't know. I don't think I'm conveying this correctly. I think it sounds really weird. I also point my needle at the dot with each stitch. And that can really throw you off if you have a bent needle, which I do. So I'm having to pay attention to that too. How many of you end up with bent needles, both knitting and sewing? If they can be bent, they get bent. Joey is, I think, the most severe needle bender for the knitting needles. They get a grip on it and they really put a curve into the knitting needles. I've got old aluminum ones that were my mom's, and my mom didn't knit. I think she was making a go of it, and it didn't happen. So I ended up with her knitting needles, and Joey has put a curve in all of them that she's used. That is significant. Much like, I don't know if you can see the curve in this. This is clearly a favorite sewing needle. It's got quite a curve in it, and I don't know. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the kind of curve she sticks in the knitting needles, and I don't mind. It doesn't throw me off when I go to use them. There we go. So now we've got our darts in. The next thing I'll do is the waistband, and I need clips for that. I've already started sewing it, but this is spread a little bit here at the darts where I folded it, and you can really see it when I take the pin off, that it just allows you to put that down and let the fabric spread out to the equivalent of the dart, so that it's similar distance around on the where you're stitching. Of course, I didn't get it back in the clip right. I have been lacking in fashion inspiration lately. Haven't really been inspired to sew much of anything, and I knew I had this plan for this doll wedding. I think I started the whole process of the story last year, and it's kind of funny, you've set yourself up and you're like, oh no, now I got to do a wedding. And just coming up with storylines to photograph and have fun with. Why do we collect dolls? Some of us do it for stories. Some of us do it for just because we like looking at them. We think they look cool, right? I like stories. That's a big part for me, creating the environments and creating stories. So that sometimes I can't say I write myself into a corner, but yeah, that's the equivalent of writing yourself into a corner when you've realized that you've now got to orchestrate a whole setup that you weren't ready for. And at least I've got a backdrop for the beach. And we may do it. So here, near where I live in Port Townsend, there is a park called Chetzemoka, and it is on the water, but it has a very popular place to have weddings, which looks like a park. I mean, like grass. Like it's a grassy park, lots of roses, and it's a park that was established in the early days of the town in the Victorian era. So it's got some interesting features that make it very popular with weddings. And I was initially going to put my beach background up, but maybe I'll put my other background. I don't know. Now I'm now I'm changing my mind, right? No, maybe I should stay with the beach. I guess that's going to be one of those things that you won't know until I've done it. We're still going with the idea of a beach theme, the informal. And it won't be affected whether it's in the park or whether it's with the beach backdrop. That's a little detail. Doesn't take a lot of effort. But I guess for me, one of the things that may get in the way and cause some issues is it's about time to start the next floor on the cardboard dollhouse, and you can't set up those backdrops once you start building and have it under construction. I mean, like once it's there, you can. I don't know. I might find myself in that in between where I can't, where I don't have it set up right. Like if you've got the walls up in the next floor, I guess I don't know. I'm contemplating it here and how it has gotten in the way. It's gotten in the way in the past, and of doing just plain backdrop setups, because I do them on top of the cardboard house. That's when you see a backdrop, I am set up on top of the cardboard dollhouse, and with planning to add another floor. That's kind of part of the wanting more living spaces that you actually set up in, realizing that making a bedroom, great. It's cool. The bed has, I forgot to mention that. I have finished the curtains for the bed, but I have not put them on yet. They're waiting for me to like pleat press them. Not that knot's not gonna hold. I put little folded pleats in there because it's organdy. It holds those folds really well, and I can't remember if I ironed them in or not, but either way, I need to spend the time doing that so that I can hang them in there. But you don't do a lot of bedroom photo shoots, so you've got this really cool looking bedroom, and it doesn't make the storyline very often. And then the bathroom is another one that bathroom and laundry room, both of those are ones that I thought I would set up more often, but have not. And the bathroom just sits there. It doesn't. It's rare that I set her up in a rush to get ready. Maybe I need to do more a day in the life of type things where bathroom centric. I guess that's the difference there, is I don't spend a lot of time in the bathroom, so I don't think of it that way. And that could be what's going on. I don't spend a lot of time primping at all, so yeah, I never have. It's not a place I hang out. And so I just don't think of it. But and I do use the living room setup a lot. I use the living room setup a whole lot. And I thought I would use the kitchen setup a whole lot. And while I've used it some, I have not used it nearly as much as I thought I would. Oh, I'm going to take this clip off, but it's going to get complicated here. So I got to make sure that that fold stays down. So what kind of settings do you use more often, or do you not worry about a setting? You just, if you're going to photograph your dolls, you don't, maybe you just take them outside. Just photograph them in whatever environment. I'm always a little bit envious of people making trips and photographing their dolls on a trip. I don't know if it's in my gallery, but I did take porcelain doll when I had it and with me on a trip to Nevada and took a lot of photos of her camping. But it's not something, since I don't go anywhere anymore, it's not something I can do. And it's not something I have done. And I am seeing people with these great photographs of, you know, taking their doll wherever and placing it and taking a picture and getting comfortable doing that is also something that I would have to work through. I think just doing it once would probably... most of the pictures that I took with the doll on the camping trip, we were the only ones around. And the few times that I took pictures where there were other people around, it was a really quick shot where I was holding her up between me and the scene, and so that she was in the corner of it. Rarely were there people around, I'll just say that. So I would have to be in a position with people around, which, you know, at this point, probably going to cause a stir just being there, because I'm going to be masked, and I won't be masked with just a cloth mask. I have to wear a one with the filters that filter out fumes. So it catches a lot more attention and makes me look a little more foil hat. And especially in this day and age where, yeah, it's the conclusion everybody jumps to, instead of realizing that that's my option for going out if I want to be around other people, is I have to have a mask that will keep the chemical fumes of the synthetic fragrance out. And that's uncomfortable. that causes that whole, you know, how you feel kind of uncomfortable maybe taking pictures of your doll in public. Well, yeah, I feel uncomfortable just being in public. So, yeah, there's that. So that's what it looks like afterwards, is you have a little bit of the fold there, but it does sit better. And where if you sew the dart all the way in its all the way up to the edge, and then you try to fold it to the inside, it causes the whole waistband to tug a little bit, and it's a little harder, in my opinion, to stitch down. So I go ahead and just start at the fold line. And look at me not cutting the same from one side to the other. Now I'm wondering which one followed the pattern and which one didn't. Probably the more curved one is with the pattern, and the less curved is not. And I am going to go finish this up, and we'll try it on both dolls as soon as I've got this seam in. So here's the first fit of how it fits on the waist. She says, "Oh, the indignity." And I just make sure that there is that seam allowance there. And we also need to try it on Keegan. I am going to probably put some kind of crinoline over their bathing suits in kind of a fairy fashion, I think. I think that looks really good. It fits better than the pants I bought for him. So to me, that's a win. That's a win. And we do have the seam allowance there. So these will probably be his because I need them shorter for her. I don't see any reason to shorten these. Anyway, so I've got that to finish up, and oh, so many more to make this wedding party happen. And you know, I'm sitting here debating over the theme and whatnot, and since it's all happening inside and is not weather related, it could be take the pressure off. It could be October, November before I get it done. That's okay. I'm going to give myself that grace to let it happen when it happens. And maybe I will be inspired to give it a little more flair than I was originally. We got sparkle, which is its own kind of flair, and that was actually the sparkly fabric and this starburst type what do you call that? Anyway, space fabric really were what finally made me feel very much inspired to even work on this. So, and we're starting. We've got the beginnings, and hopefully I can make some progress on that. I have also done the first cut on my big block of wood here, or I should say Arthur did my first cut for starting the goblin body. So this is a really big block of wood, but she's gonna have this squat little body, and I have to plan that out and start taking it down. First thing has to happen is a hole for the neck, and deciding how I want this joint to set in there exactly, and what size the hole needs to start, because I'm pretty sure I need to drill a hole and then carve around. But anyway, we've made our first start at it, and that means I'm a little bit closer to having the leftover wood for making a head for that poor doll down there on Della's floor that just is drawn away with no head. And that is what's going on here for this week. Hope you enjoyed the stories and stuff that I've been posting, and that you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.